God is saying to us that what you live from will be determined by what water you drink. If all you drink is that which the earth supplies, which is natural water, you will live from what the natural soul can produce, what reasoning can produce, what man can accomplish in his own strength. But if we live from the water of the Word, if we live from the Spirit, the water that comes from heaven, that will be what sustains you. That will be what you live from, because that's the water that you drink. And he carries it on his head. He carries it where his mind is, where his thoughts are formed. And he's saying, either you can have a mind to the soul, or you can have a mind to the spirit. And he's saying, I'm carrying the Word of God in my heart. I'm putting it on my mind. I'm putting it on my lips. I'm carrying it near to me. And the water on his head represents the Word of God that is on his heart. And it's as if Jesus is telling his disciples, the man who carries me on his head, that's the one whose house I'll enter. It's a picture of God saying, I want to come to those who are carrying me in their hearts, who have the Word of God carried in their hearts. And the salvation of God comes to your household. I want to tell you that. The salvation of God comes to the household that is aligned with the Word of God. If you are aligning your household with the Word of God, there is provision from God. There is salvation from God. There is a grace from God which will make a visitation to your household, that will make the presence of God known in your household. And God says, if you align with my Word, if you carry the Word of God on your heart, if you put it on your mind, if you have a mind to the Spirit, a mind to the Word of God, to be led by the Spirit, I will make my goodness known to you. My goodness will unfold in your life. And Jesus says that no matter what happens in your household, there can be storms around, but I will enter into your reality. I will enter into your space. I will enter into your household, and I will bring my presence. I will bring my peace. And when others see you operating within that economy, when others see you operating in the economy of God's grace that comes and visits your house, they will be drawn to that peace. I want you to see the picture of Jesus trusting his Father, not having his own work, not having his own source of income. And he says, my Father supplies. And he supplies it in a way that is for us a shadow and a type of saying the Word of God in our hearts, the Word of God in our minds, carrying the Word of God on our shoulders. Those who carry responsibility, they carry the Word of God as the most primary thing in their life. They align themselves with the Word of God. I'm telling you, there is going to be provision for you in your household. There is provision. In fact, Jesus says that room in that house will be prepared for you already. It says here, in fact, he says, he will show you a large room upstairs, furnished and ready, in verse 15. And Jesus says, if you put your trust in the Father, he shows us how this works. If you put your trust in the Father, if you live by the Spirit, if you live by that which is from the Word of God, from the mind of God, on the track of what God is doing in the earth, and you're aligned with His Word, you're aligned with His Spirit, there are rooms made ready for you. There is provision made ready for you. God has already supplied all our needs, but He does it by a grace that sustains what He's doing in the earth. And He's calling you in. He says, I have peace for you. My peace I give you, not as the world gives. And no matter what the storm is, when He enters into your household, the peace of God is there. He says, peace to this house. Peace to this house. And those who see righteous men trusting God, men and women that put their trust in God, those who see the peace of God attending you, they will be drawn to that. They will say, I want what you have. God is preparing us to be a city on a hill. He's preparing us to be the people that are at peace when everything is falling apart in the world. The systems of this world, and people are losing their minds. They are storing up, they are hoarding, they are trying to preserve their life. And God says, I am your peace. You don't need to self-preserve. I'm telling you, Lighthouse family, you do not have to store up. You do not have to hoard up. That is not the culture that God is bringing you into His house. You do not have to self-preserve. God's grace exists for you for this time. There is a grace from heaven for you for this time. If you enter this grace, if you enter the grace that God has for you in this time, if you enter His peace, if you carry His word on your heart, His grace will be sufficient for you. Not only will it be sufficient, it will sustain you in such a way that the others in the world will be drawn to your light. They will be drawn to the radiance of His glory in you as He provides, as He supplies, as He's your protector, as He is your source, as He is your Father. Invite Him into your household. Invite the peace of God into your household. You do that by putting the Word of God on your heart. That you don't live with a mind to the soul, but you live with a mind to the Spirit. As I said last week, we have a mind, will, and a heart. You can have your mind, will, and heart to the soul, or you can have a mind, will, and heart to the Spirit. And they are made that the mind, will, and heart of the Spirit is to be able to superimpose, impress itself on your soul. And your soul is to blindly be able to follow the lead of the Spirit, so that the mind of the Spirit can inform your mind as to what is real. Once you understand what is real, then the mind to the will to the Spirit can inform the will to the soul of what to pay attention to. What it's the engine that drives the action based on what the understanding is of what's real. And when we understand what's real by the mind to the Spirit, now the will can say, I'm about my Father's business. I'm doing this, and I'm doing it in alignment with truth. I'm doing it in alignment with what is real, not with the lie of the enemy, which might be fact, but is based on lies. It's based on the scare tactics of the enemy, which brings me to the heart of the soul, or the heart of the Spirit, which is the overriding emotion that motivates all of this. The soul, the world system, the heart of that is fear. But the heart, the overriding emotion to the Spirit, is that of love. And the love of God will be your portion. You will know the love of your Father. You will know the heart of your Father. You will experience His grace towards you. You will experience His peace. You will experience His provision. In these days, in these next few weeks, as we have time, I'm encouraging you to draw near to God. Put His word in your heart. Meditate on His word day and night. Allow it to be the overwhelming emotion of your spirit, to be the love of God and the confidence of the love of God that will preserve you, the love of God that will sustain you, the grace of God that will carry you and sustain you in this season. Remember what God is doing. He's preparing a people. He's preparing a people. He's preparing you and me to be the radiance of our Father's glory. Embrace the season and embrace the grace of God that will be your supply. And we'll keep in touch, keep updated, follow the Facebook page, and we'll see when we connect, when we share together, when we worship together. Even though we do it online for the next few weeks, we are a family connected to each other because we have a Father and He has made us one. We share the same heart. We share the same Spirit of God. Grace and peace to you till we see you again.